Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make St. Lucia buns, or Lussekatter I think they're also known as. These are popular in Scandinavia, particularly in Sweden apparently, and they're usually eaten on the 13th of December, which is St. Lucy's Day. Now I have made these before, about 10 years ago, and I've been promising myself I'm going to make them again, and I've never got round to it. But I thought I'd do them again and make another video because I now have my Ankarsrum mixer, which is actually a Swedish mixer, and I'm going to make the dough in that. Now obviously I'm making these earlier in the year than they would make them in Sweden, but that doesn't matter because they're very, very tasty. A sweetened, enriched dough which has some saffron in it, which gives flavour and colour, and a little bit of cardamom. And cardamom's very, very popular in Scandinavian countries. So, with that said, I'll go on to the ingredients. And for this, I have 240 millilitres, 1 cup of milk, 60 millilitres, a quarter of a cup of natural yoghurt, 500 grams, 3 1/3 cups based on scooping packed flour into a 250 millilitre cup of bread flour. I have half a gram, which is about half to 3/4 of a teaspoon of saffron threads. Now you can grind that into a powder if you want to. I'm going to rub it between my fingers to break it up a little bit. I also have 7 grams, 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of instant yeast, 100 grams, half a cup of caster sugar, 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA, 1 gram, half a teaspoon of ground cardamom, 75 grams, 5 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter, and 24 raisins, which I have put to soak in some hot water. Before I use the raisins, which is right at the very end, I will drain the water off and pat them dry, and they should be nice and plump, which is what I want. So that's all. Oh, and I also have 1 more egg, and any size egg, but that's a medium egg again, large in the USA, which I'm going to beat and use to brush over the top of the buns. Now you can also use some pearl sugar, and I may put some pearl sugar on some of mine, but I've not included it in here because it's not absolutely necessary. So that's all the ingredients, and we'll go on to mix the dough. And to start that process off, I'm going to put my milk and my yoghurt into a saucepan, like that, and then I'm going to put the saffron into it as well, and I'm going to put some between my fingers and just rub it like that, which breaks it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be too broken up. And with that in the saucepan, I'm going to put that onto the heat, and I'm going to heat it up until it's steaming. It's not quite boiling, but it's very, very hot. And my milk is and yogurt is very hot now, and the yogurt is clumping a bit, but that will break up. So I'm going to put my butter into that, and I'm just going to let that melt. And once it's melted, it will reduce the temperature, obviously, which will make it safe for the yeast to go in. So I've put my milk with the melted butter and the yogurt and the saffron into the bowl of my stand mixer, and I'm going to add in my sugar and my cardamom. I'll just give those a little mix around. I'll just test the temperature, and that's coming down. That's 44. I put my egg in and mix that to get that fully combined. And that's good. And now the temperature is at 41 degrees, and I want it 41 to 42 degrees, which is up to about 108 degrees Fahrenheit. And so I can then put my yeast in and give that a mix around. And with that in, I will add my flour in, and I'll add it in 2 or 3 additions. I'll give it a mix until it becomes a shaggy dough. So that's quite a shaggy dough now. So I'm going to knead that until it all comes together into a smooth and elastic dough, which is still quite tacky. So I've kneaded that for 8 or 9 minutes, and it's still tacky to the touch, but it's quite smooth and it is quite stretchy. So that's ready to proof. Now, if you're using another stand mixer, you can take it out, take the dough out, form it into a ball and put it into an oiled bowl or a lightly greased bowl and cover it. But I'm going to cover mine just with the lid, which comes with my Ankarsrum, and I'm going to leave that to proof until it doubles in size. And that can take 1 hour, it can take 2 hours, it depends on the temperature in the kitchen. So I'll come back when this has doubled in size. So my dough has doubled in size, and I've tipped it out onto a work surface. I'm just going to press it down a little bit. I'm going to divide it into 12 equal pieces, which will weigh about 85 grams each. And having divided the pieces into 85 grams, I'm going to roll each piece into a rope which is about 14 inches in length. And I'll do it in stages so that, because the dough will tend to spring back a little bit. So I let it relax as I'm rolling so that I can roll it more. And as you can see, I've lightly floured the work surface just to stop everything from sticking too much. And once I've got them to about that length, I'm going to twist them round to make a reverse S. So I have a swirl and a swirl. So if I twist that round like that, and twist this one in the opposite direction. Now you could make a normal S and then turn it over, I suppose. So there's my reverse S, like that. So I'm going to put that onto a baking tray and do the same with the remainder, and I will use 2 baking trays. So I have shaped my 12 St. Lucia buns, some shaped slightly better than others, I have to say, and I've put them on my baking trays. So I'm going to cover them with some oiled or greased plastic wrap, like that, and I'm going to leave them to double in size. And as they double in size, I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees Celsius, 180 Celsius with a fan, 390 Fahrenheit. And once these have doubled in size, I'll come back and we will brush some beaten egg over the top, and then we will also put our raisins into them as well. So my dough has risen quite nicely, and it's taken about 35 minutes. So I've beaten my extra egg, and I'm just going to brush the egg all over the surface of each one. And with the egg brushed over, I'm going to take my 24 raisins and I'm going to poke one into each of the swirls. Like that. And then, as I mentioned, I'm going to take a little bit of pearl sugar for some of them and just sprinkle a little bit of pearl sugar on the top. And this is optional, just like that. And I'm going to put those into the oven, and I'm going to bake them for about 12 minutes. They should puff up quite nicely and brown on the top. And after 12 minutes, I will take them out of the oven and put them onto a wire rack and allow them to cool down. And once they've cooled down, I'll come back and show you the results and we'll have a taste. I baked my St. Lucia buns for 12 minutes. They rose nicely and they browned on the top. So I took them out of the oven and put them onto a wire rack, and I've allowed them to cool down. So I'll show you what they look like. So here's 11 of them, and they baked up quite nicely, as you can see. And they did hold their shape pretty well. A couple of them are a little bit misshapen, but that doesn't matter. So I've broken one open so I can show you the inside. And it looks very nice, and it's very, very soft. And you can see the colour of the saffron, obviously. So I'll have a taste of it. It's very, very good. It has that hint of cardamom and of saffron as well. You can taste the saffron. There's slightly earthy taste to it. It's sweetness as well from the sugar. This is an ideal bun. I believe that many of the Swedes or the Scandinavians might enjoy this at breakfast time on the 13th of December, but very good any time, I would imagine. So I might be a little bit early in making them, but I wanted to make them again and use my Ankarsrum to do it, and they turned out very well. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future, so until then, happy baking.